If you're always the one calling and texting, you're in their face constantly, thinking that that's the way to make them love you, they take you for granted. They think you're so familiar that they have you wrapped around your finger a little bit. And unconsciously, they lose a bit of respect. They may not say it, but it'll come out in their behavior. And over time, you know, the spell of love will kind of diminish.
Here's the first mistake most guys make. Most guys think obsession comes from more effort, more texts, more compliments, more good morning. But Greene argues that true seduction proceeds by absence. Familiarity is the death of seduction because it dissolves the erotic tension required to keep the target's imagination active. When you are always in their face, you become noise, a constant irritation people learn to tune out. Think about a song. The chorus is the best part. But if the chorus plays non-stop, it stops hitting. It turns into noise. That's what happens when your attention has no space around it. Now listen to how he finishes this.
So you want to step back, you want to create some distance, some absence, and you want to make them come to you instead of you going to them. If you make them take a move towards you, then the game is reversed, the dynamic is reversed, and you, I hate to bring power into these situations, but you know, it happens. Now the power is a little bit more on your side.
This maneuver is called give them space to fall. The pursuer is pursued. By withdrawing, you trigger crystallization, a mental process where the target, left alone with their thoughts, endows you with 1,000 perfections to satisfy their own doubts. In simple terms, left alone with her thoughts, her brain does something dangerous. It starts filling in the blanks. It starts replaying moments. It starts guessing what you're doing. And that guessing creates emotion. Here is the deep insight. The target isn't falling for you. They are falling for an idealized, diamond-studded version of you that they are creating in their own mind. By being absent, you allow their imagination to do the hard work of seduction for you. You aren't just playing hard to get, you are becoming a fantasy figure that no real human being could ever compete with. But seduction isn't just about becoming a fantasy in their mind. It's also about entering their spirit and reflecting their deepest self back to them. And no one understood this better than
would be Cleopatra. But if you think about Cleopatra, as far as we know, we have some images from coins. It's the only images we have from her. And she had a bit of a nose, she had a bit of a beak, and she didn't look ravishingly beautiful. And yet, she managed to seduce Julius Caesar and make him go crazy and make him basically lose everything because of her. And then she seduced Mark Antony, his successor. And these were two very different men. Julius Caesar was kind of an intellectual. He was kind of an artist. He was very aesthetic. He loved the theater. And Mark Antony was very man's man kind of type, complete opposite. She knew every man's weakness. And so she knew that Julius Caesar loved theater, loved grand things, loved spectacle. So she got one of her barges on the Nile River, this beautiful gold barge with beautiful women fanning with palm leaves in all these incredible outfits. And she got Caesar onto this barge, and they did a trip on the River Nile, and it was what completely seduced him.
Let me translate that into real life, because most people copy this wrong. Next time you talk to her, try this. Ask her one question that's not boring, not just, how was your day? Then listen to her answer for twice as long as you talk. Later, bring up one small thing she said. For example, oh, you said you like art museums but hate big crowds. Okay, I'll remember that. That one simple sentence is way more powerful than giving her 50 compliments. Because when you enter their spirit and reflect it back to them, you aren't just mirroring who they are, you are mirroring their ego ideal, the person they once dreamed of becoming, but had to give up for reality. By being a sponge, you are feeding their deep-rooted narcissism. They become addicted to you because you are the only person in the world who makes them feel like the extraordinary version of themselves they always secretly believed they were. You have stolen their ability to resist by becoming their own best reflection.